This is the 14th annual NARD. Thank you guys for being here, National Animal Rights Day. You guys showed up. Thank you, New York City. This is a global event. Welcome.
Yes, we know how important it is to show up, and all of you are doing that. We really appreciate everyone being here. Please, I know it's a little loud right now, but I'm louder.
Woo!
Right? So we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of the work that everyone has done throughout so many years. We have incredible speakers to give us a little more lightness, because we all know this type of work can be very heavy and we could feel alone and isolated. But look, we have community, and this is happening all around the world. That's crazy. I love that. But without further ado, we're going to welcome the lady of the hour, my bestie.
It's Miss Jamie Logan. You've
Jamie
seen her all
Logan.
around, guys. Let's give it up.
Should I stand here or should I stand here? Hello. This one's louder. Let's stand here. Hi guys, thank you so much for being here today, for coming from all over the country. Oh my goodness! Ah! So welcome to NARD 2024. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for coming here today and not going to Union Square or Foley Square. Yes. Somehow we ended up at Dag Hammarskjöld Park. But we're all here, we made it, thank you. So before we start, I just want to take a moment to recognize each and every one of you for coming out today, whether you are a long-time animal rights activist, or you're accompanying a family member or friend, or even if you're just passing by. Hey Melania, what's up? Even if you're just passing by and curious what today is all about, we appreciate you. In order to make this world a better place for all living beings, we need the passion of activists, the support of family and friends, and also the curiosity of bystanders. Thank you all for participating and for getting off of the sidelines and engaging in this moment today. Woo! And I have to give a major thank you to Royce Gomez and Eddie Sullivan, who helped organize. We organized this together, so thank you guys for doing that. Could not have done it without you. So what is National Animal Rights Day, guys? Well, in more than 50 countries around the world on the first Sunday of June, we gather to give a voice to the voiceless. Well, to amplify the voices that they already have. We provide education on the horrifying ways that large industries treat animals. We mourn the trillions of land and aquatic animals who are commodified and killed every single year by human hands. But we also look for ways to strive towards complete and total animal liberation. We will keep showing up until every cage is empty. We will say their names until they are free from their chains. We will tell their stories, challenge unjust laws, perhaps even risk our own freedom to do it. But throughout this process, everyone, we will spread more love. And I believe one of the most pure forms of love is aligning our actions to our morals. Today is ensuring we continue to do so until one day we don't need to do it anymore. Thank you. Let's get started.
Thank you guys so much. So we're going to start off by honoring a beautiful woman named Karen Davis, okay? This is written by Dawn Ladd. Karen is a true animal heroine. She began United Poultry Concerns in 1990 and was a tireless activist. Karen was a dynamic speaker and spoke about the plight of domesticated chickens, ducks, and turkeys at protests, conferences, and conventions. She organized International Respect for Chickens Day in 2005 and can be seen outside the White House leafleting every May 4th. She wrote an award-winning publication, Poultry Press, which not only exposed the horrors of animal agriculture, but highlighted how curious and wonderful chickens can be when allowed to be themselves. UPC funded lawsuits on behalf of chickens and provided financial support. So Karen dedicated her life to help some of the most abused animals on this earth. Thank you so much, Karen.
Now we will be having a couple of speakers to say a eulogy speech. Our next speaker is, I don't even know. All of you, if you're from New York, you definitely know this woman. She's been an animal rights activist for over 20 years. She is the executive director of Night Class, and you probably have seen her on the local news channel speaking up for the animals relentlessly. Please welcome Edita Birnkrant.
Hi everyone. So Flaco, pictured here, was actually born in 2010 in North Carolina, born into captivity. Shortly after, he was sent to his long-term prison in the Central Park Zoo, where he was kept for 13 years in a heartbreakingly tiny enclosure where he could not even fly or do anything that makes life worth living for a Eurasian owl. So either by chance or by fate, in 2023, some unnamed person cut open Flaco's enclosure. Flaco chose to leave that prison, and despite every effort for the zoo to get him back, Flaco did not want to go back to that prison cell. He wanted to live free like every wild bird and every wild animal wants to live. Everybody said that was a bird expert that Flaco would never survive. He didn't know how to hunt. He didn't even know how to fly properly. But he did survive, and he actually thrived. He learned how to hunt. He was flying all over town, even to the Lower East Side. And he would still be alive today, if not of March of this year. Flaco died largely due to eating poisoned rats. I believe that Flaco would have chosen, he did choose, his year of freedom over another 13 years in a prison cell. But his death got worldwide attention and outrage, and we now are passing Flaco's laws in his name so that we don't... Flaco deserved a city that does not poison its wildlife. So come over to the Night Class table. We have 3 different laws called Flaco's laws that will ban rodenticide that kills thousands of animals. It will help prevent hundreds of thousands of birds from crashing into buildings, and that's the best way to honor Flaco. He's flying in peace right now. Thank you, Flaco.
Thank you so much, guys. So next, we are going to welcome a longtime activist, and you guys know her here in NYC. She is a great organizer for PETA and NYC for all of the public disruptions going on here. Guys, please give it up for our amazing Rachel Levy!
Thank you, everyone. How are you, all you beautiful people? Beautiful vegans. So today I'm going to be doing a eulogy for Nicole Navarro. She's the founder and director of Positive Beginnings. And this one is dedicated to the 100 million, over 100 million animals, fur-bearing animals, that are violently killed each year in the fur industry. So Libby passed away on March 7th, 2024 from a rapid onset liver failure, which is sadly common with fox that are farmed for their fur. I did all I could to save her, but sadly it was too late. Libby was born on a fur farm in Iowa in 2019 and was destined to be murdered in the name of fashion. The universe had other plans for Libby, and she was liberated from a fur farm on May 2020 and went to live with me at Positive Beginnings in Key Largo, Florida. Libby was able to experience almost 4 years of being loved, cared for, and respected for the sentient being that she was. Libby was a force to be reckoned with. With her fierce personality got her name the Queen at Positive Beginnings. She made it well known from day one that humans had wronged her so deeply that she had boundaries in gaining the trust of humans. That was not an option for her. But I would respect her boundaries and understanding that I would care for her and she would live her life exactly like she wanted to. It was my honor to give her the life that she never knew would be possible. Here at Positive Beginnings, there was a definite void in our lives without her strong presence. It was an honor to give her the life that she never knew. And her memory lives on in our lives and all the lives she touched around the world by raising awareness about the horrific and barbaric fur industry. So please, let's just take a 30-second moment for all the millions, the hundreds of millions of animals, not counting rabbits, okay, because they're not counted for some reason, and they go into the billions that are killed for their fur and for their meat, for their flesh. So let's just take 30 seconds, moment of silence, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, please continue to fight the fur industry, the blood fashion fur industry. Once we get that industry to go away in the past and make it obsolete, abolished, we will continue to fight for the rest of the animals abused and used in the fashion industry. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, at this time, everyone, we encourage you to go to the back, grab a poster board that resonates with you, and we're going to begin a formation so we can honor all the animals that we've lost this year and so many centuries before now. I will be reading the English Declaration. Since the dawn of humanity, there remains a group
so persistently abused and marginalized that their suffering is ingrained in our everyday lives.
If animals could talk freely, their chorus of cries would drown out every other sound in the world. We are all animals. We are all living, breathing beings who share the same earth. We all feel pain and suffer when we are hurt or deprived of our lives, our families, and our freedom. We all have the right to experience kindness, compassion, and dignity. We believe in the kinship of all beings, and we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all beings are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of their own happiness. All animals have the same natural right to simply exist as any other living being. It is possible for us to coexist in peace and harmony on planet Earth. Animals are not the property or commodity of humans and are not our own to use for our benefit. Therefore, they are to be free from slavery, exploitation, oppression, victimization, brutality, abuse, and any other treatment that disregards their safety, their own free will and dignity. They should not be slaughtered for food, killed for their skins, experimented on, killed for religious purposes, used for forced labor, abused and killed for sport and entertainment, abused for commercial profit, hunted, persecuted, or exterminated for human pleasures, needs, or other ends. Humans shall do whatever it is within their means to protect all of these animals. Any animal who is dependent on a human has the right to proper sustenance and care and shall not be neglected, abandoned, or killed. We call for the protection of these rights. They must be recognized and defended by law. Any act which compromises the well-being or survival of an animal or species, or jeopardizes, contradicts, or deprives an animal or species of the rights listed above should be deemed a crime and should be punished accordingly.
Desde el comienzo de la humanidad quedó un grupo tan persistentemente maltratado y marginalizado que su sufrimiento permanece profundamente arraigado en nuestra vida cotidiana. Si los animales pudiesen hablar, su coro de gritos ahogaría cualquier otro sonido del mundo. Todos somos animales. Todos nosotros somos seres que respiramos y compartimos la misma tierra. Todos sentimos dolor y sufrimos cuando nos lastiman o nos privan de nuestra vida, de nuestra familia, de nuestra libertad. Todos tenemos el derecho a experimentar la bondad, la compasión y la dignidad. Nosotros creemos en el parentesco de todos los seres y en la posibilidad que convivamos en paz y armonía en el planeta Tierra. Considerando que todo ser viviente del planeta Tierra proviene originalmente de la misma fuente y que seguimos los mismos principios evolutivos. Considerando que todo ser viviente del planeta Tierra habita las mismas tierras, las mismas mares y el mismo aire, y que por tanto compartimos los mismos recursos que necesitamos para vivir, formando un sistema ecológico. Considerando que todo ser viviente posee las mismas necesidades, la de sobrevivir, buscar la felicidad y el placer y evitar el sufrimiento, de vivir cómodamente, reproducirse y formar familias y otras estructuras sociales. Considerando que todo ser viviente tal y como conoce la humanidad es un ser sensible y por tanto siente dolor, placer, sensaciones, sentimientos y emociones. Considerando que la especie humana es solo uno de los millones de especies de animales que existen y que forma una minoría que en comparación a los miles de millones de animales que viven en este planeta. Por tanto, nosotros consideramos que estas verdades son evidentes por sí mismos, que todos los seres, que todos son creados iguales, con derecho a la vida, libertad y búsqueda de su felicidad. Por consiguiente, todos los animales tienen el mismo derecho innato a existir como cualquier otro ser viviente. Todos los animales tienen derecho a ser libres, a vivir sus vidas en sus propios términos según la intención de la naturaleza. Todos los animales tienen derecho a comer, dormir, estar física y psicológicamente cómodos, poder moverse y mantenerse. sano y salvo para satisfacer sus necesidades naturales y esenciales. Como tales, todos los animales han de ser libres del hambre, del sed, de la desnutrición, del agotamiento y del malestar físico, del confinamiento contra su voluntad, malos tratos, actos abusivos o crueles, dolores, lesiones y enfermedades, miedo y angustia, y poder manifestar los patrones naturales de su comportamiento. Todos los animales tienen derecho a reproducirse, vivir con sus propios crías, familias, tribus y comunidades y mantener una vida social natural. Tienen el derecho a vivir en su ambiente natural, de crecer al ritmo natural de su especie y que la duración de su vida corresponda a su longevidad natural. Los animales no son propiedades ni productos de los humanos, ni les pertenecen para su beneficio o sustento. Por lo tanto, los animales deben ser libres de la esclavitud, explotación, opresión, victimización, persecución, brutalidad, abuso y cualquier otro trato que desconsidera su seguridad, propia voluntad y dignidad. No deben ser maltratados para su usado como alimento, maltratados por sus pieles, ser sometidos o experimentados por fines religiosos, utilizados para trabajos forzados, abusados y matados en deportes o por entretenimiento, abusados por beneficios comerciales, corridos, perseguidos o exterminados por placer humano, necesidad y otros fines. Los humanos deben hacer lo que esté o alcance para proteger a todos los animales. Cualquier animal que depende de un humano tiene derecho a un sustento, apropiar y ser cuidado y no ser descontenido y abandonado o matado. Los animales que hayan fallecido deben ser tratados con respeto, dignidad, igual como los humanos. Hacemos un llamamiento para la protección de estos derechos. Deben ser reconocidos y defenderlos por ley como lo son los derechos humanos. Cualquier acto que ponga en peligro el bienestar a la supervivencia de un animal o una especie o que perjudique, tradigo o priva a un animal o especie a los derechos mencionados anteriormente deben ser considerados un crimen y por tanto deberá ser castigado acordamadamente. En fe lo cual, este derecho de declaración suscribe hoy, 2 de junio de 2024, el 14 Día Nacional de los Derechos Animales en la ciudad de Nueva York, Estado de Nueva York. Gracias.
Now we're gonna take a moment of silence for the animals. Thank you all so much. I can't help but to look out into the crowd and see some of these faces, specifically this monkey that says, "Could you live like this?" And the answer is no. No one can. And I know all of you are feeling some heaviness in your chest right now. That's why it's so important for us as activists and just people in general to take care of oneself and to remember the joy and lightness that does exist on this planet. So right now, I am going to welcome our next guest who brings exactly that. She brings so much joy, and she is a long time vegan animal activist. She is the co-founder of Jivamuti Yoga Method, and she leads this movement with compassion. And I think we all pretty much need that very much in our lives right now. So without further ado, this sparkling fairy goddess is coming to our stage to give us some words of wisdom. Please welcome Sharon Gannon.
I am here because, like you, I'm an abolitionist. People become vegan for one or all of these 4 reasons: for their health, for the environment, for the animals, or because they understand how karma works, how what we do to others creates our reality. If we ourselves do not want to be enslaved, tortured, raped, murdered, then the solution is simple. We have to stop enslaving, yes? Yes. Torturing, yes. Raping, yes. Murdering, yes. And eating other animals. Yes. How we treat others will be how others will treat us. How others treat us will determine how we see ourselves. And how we see ourselves will determine ultimately who we are. If we really do want to see ourselves as kind people, it starts with being kind to others. We are not alone. Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others. Every act of kindness, cruelty, or indifference weaves the pattern of time that will become known as our lives. The most important thing that any one of us can do, the most important thing that any one of us can do today is to dare to care about the happiness and liberation of others. And when we can grasp the interconnectedness, the interrelatedness of ourselves with all of life, then and only then can we begin to be a vehicle for kindness, rather than a skin-encapsulated ego, a small, stingy self, stumbling along, desperately trying to find our way. But kindness, you see, stimulates spiritual activation. Not anger or blame. That won't stimulate spiritual activation. Kindness stimulates spiritual activation. And then we can expand beyond our ego-driven selves into our higher self, our true self, our joy-filled, compassionate self, and become truly effective activists rather than merely angry vegans. Sing with me if you like. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. May this be so. May this be so because I said so. Will you say it too? Will you? Will you? Will you say it too? Say what you mean and mean what you say. But don't say it in a mean way. Jamie Logan said that. So while we still have time, let us be kind.
If you've received a flower, please come forward
I'll be the one
and place
if
it
you want me to.
in front of our unfortunate coffin.
Anywhere I would have followed you. Say something, I'm giving up on you. And I am feeling so small. It was over my head. I know nothing at all. And I will stumble and fall. I'm still learning to love, just starting to crawl. Say something, I'm giving up on you. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you. Anywhere I would have followed you. Say something, I'm giving up on you. And I will swallow my pride. You're the one that I love, and I'm saying goodbye. Say something, I'm giving up on you. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you. And anywhere I would have followed you. Oh, say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something.
It was beautiful, guys, to see everyone come up here. Thank you.
I don't like to be sad, even though if anyone knows me, it seems like I'm always sad. But it's inspiring to see people who care. And our next guest is she's living testament of that change can happen.
Exactly. She, guys, is our Rowdy Girl. She is the founder and executive director of the Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, guys. And guess what? She's got a film screening in New York City right now until the 6th at the Firehouse Cinema. So go check it out. Okay, so guess what? This is her story from cattle rancher turned vegan, guys.
Crazy.
So it's possible. It's possible. Please give it up for Renee King Sonnen.
Wow. I am so honored to be here for this very, very special occasion where we remember all of the animals that should not have had to go through the torture, the abuse, the slaughter, the mutilation, the testing. It's just unbelievable what we have put animals through. You know, as a former cattle rancher in Texas that went vegan on a cattle ranch, I want to make sure I don't go over, I know firsthand what it's like to wake up, to see what we were doing that was normalized in society. See, it is so normalized to torture, kill, eat, abuse, mutilate animals. And I long for a day that I will be able to see with my own eyes the liberation of all of these animals. Let's give it to them. I long for the moment that I can walk in a grocery store and I can see food, not my friends, not the heads, not the body parts, not the organs of animals that are slaughtered and killed and put in packages. I can hardly stand to walk in grocery stores today. It is a morgue. It is a terrible, terrible morgue. The other thing that really, really torments me as a former cattle rancher is we have over 137 animals all rescued from slaughter. Every single one of them was going to be killed for someone's food. They're all living their best life at Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. There's 3 in particular that I want to remember right now that died because of the food department at Texas A&M. You know, everywhere in large animal hospitals, veterinarians take care of animals in food departments. That is atrocious. That veterinarians are taking care of animals so we can eat their bodies. That is unfreaking believable. I have 3 animals, Stormy, Sydney, and Terrell, that all died because of the food department at Texas A&M. Stormy, we are remembering her as we build our medical treatment facility for animals treated as food. We are building a facility in her name so that animals do not have to be treated in food departments. Terrell and Sydney were bulls, great big bulls, that we had to castrate in order to keep them in our herd. And because of procedures that they did in their food department, they died. So I want to remember them. I was thinking before I got started today who I wanted to remember, and they just floated to the top of my mind. Who out here has experienced the torture, the abuse, the slaughter of an animal? Who? I want you to say out loud their name. Say it out now. Say it out loud, their names. Come on, scream it out. So let everybody hear who was abused. Anybody? Yes. It is because of these animals that we all love and that are dear to our hearts, that I stand before you today as the founder of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary to say, if a rancher in Texas can go vegan, if cattle ranchers are waking up, what the heck is wrong with people? You know, what the heck is wrong with people? When cattle ranchers can awaken and see the animals that they used to send to sale barns, they can see their beating hearts, they can see their eyes, they can see their babies, and they can go, oh my God. I remember when I woke up to this. I remember when I was bottle feeding Rowdy Girl herself, and I saw through her eyes, the rest of the herd. It blew me away when I started naming them one by one. And when I came home and my husband said, Renee, you got to stop naming them cows, because if you keep naming them cows, we won't be able to have a business. And I kept naming them. You know, I wasn't even a vegan, but I was seeing them. And I couldn't help it. They were telling me their names. You know, they're all someone. Every one of these animals that have tags in their ears, that have brands on their bodies. You know, the fact that I see them now tortures me. But the one thing that I will do until my dying day, I will stand up. I will be loud. I will be proud. I will take a bullet in the street for this cause. I say it over and over and over. Nothing will stop me today. I remember the moment I told my husband, Tommy Sonnen, you take them cows up the road one more time. This was the day or two after I went vegan. I said, I will follow you. I will go to that sale barn and I will buy them all back with your credit card, and I'll bring them back home. You try me. Well, the rest is her story. I went vegan, he went vegan, and we have the first ever documented beef cattle ranch conversion gone sanctuary in the world. Thank you.
Well, if y'all are not rowdy now, I am. I was crying. I'm angry, ready to. Anyway, do you have someone else coming up here, Drew?
Yes, we do. We have Jordan Ehrlich. He is a writer, director, and he's working with Cave Light Films to get the message about animal agriculture out there, guys, to help find a solution to end this amazing atrocity done to animals. Please welcome with all of your love and might, Jordan!
Hello. So I wrote an essay, a short essay called We Are Coming for Your Burgers. And it was for non-vegans, but really it's a love letter to you guys for all the amazing work you are all doing in your own ways. We are coming for your burgers. We are disrupting your morning coffee, your daily commute, and your favorite sporting events. We will do whatever, whenever, by any means necessary. We are going deep undercover to reveal the truth behind your humanely slaughtered meals. We are blockading major distribution centers to break supply chains. We are hiring professional lobbyists to push our agenda through the halls of Congress. We are harnessing the power of scientific ingenuity to create alternatives. We are doing it with kindness, compassion, and wholehearted, persistent, yet make no mistake, we are prepared for war. We are armed with overwhelming mountains of research and indisputable evidence. We are increasingly getting elected to local, national, and international political offices. We are infiltrating mainstream media. We are plastering the consequences of your actions across city streets and your social media feeds so you cannot look away. We are doing it with psychology. We are examining deeply ingrained cognitive dissonance to undo generations of brainwashing. We are breaking stereotypes, building community, and growing exponentially. We will not stop. We are ex-cattle ranchers. We are corporate executives. We are top bodybuilders, Olympians, NFL and NBA stars. We are lawyers, rescuers, philosophers, doctors, and climate scientists. We are determined to take your right to exploit, brutalize, and commoditize what isn't yours. We spend every waking moment thinking of ways to be more effective. We are working tirelessly to reallocate billions in tax subsidies to help farmers transition to plant-based agriculture that is better for them and the planet. We are putting our freedom on the line to rescue trillions of animals, tortured animals, one by one if we have to, all while setting precedent, legal precedent while we do it. We will literally do anything except violence. Since we would never do to you what you are doing to the animals you eat and wear, we want you to drop that burger on your own, but we will not wait. We are coming. We may not win, but I, for one, will die trying.
Is anybody hungry?
Oh my gosh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, I think our next guest, she is a farmer who farms meat from dogs for the people.
That's interesting. However, we decided to let her, take a moment and talk it out to speak her piece.
Right, to let the world know that us vegans are listening to the farmers. We just don't freaking agree with them.
No.
So without further ado, Molly Elwood, come to the stage.
Yes. And she is presenting of Elwood organic dog meat.
Well, well, well. How great to see all your anemic faces looking back at me. I hope they're distributing some B12 in the back for you. So I have a little chat to give here. So again, I'm Molly Elwood. And first I want to say to the person who liberated the Labradors from our barn last night, we have you on video. So, that's property theft. Elwood's Organic Dog Meat is a family farm, and we treat our meat dogs like family. They have access to pastures, they have warm beds, they are safe until their one bad day. Everything is done humanely and ethically, and perhaps most importantly, it's local. We give our lives to these dogs and to the profits we get from them. And yet, like other animal farmers, we are often attacked by militant, angry vegans like yourselves. And we know they're vegan because their arguments are baseless and hysterical. These vegans, they talk about the unseen suffering of small picnic breeds in cages, pugs being gassed, male retrievers shot because they can't give milk. They complain about corgis feeling fear, Frenchies feeling pain, and cockapoos slaughtered by the hundreds. In fact, I received this very email just yesterday. I'm shocked. This is beyond the boundaries of humanitarian kindness. It's disgusting and deplorable. I have a poodle, and I would never let any harm come to him. This is an actual email I received. How would you like it if someone had a people farm and decided to eat you? I feel like I'm going to throw up now. Thanks for ruining my morning. It's disgusting and morally wrong. Just wrong, wrong, wrong. She's saying my family organic ethical farm is wrong. P.S. I'm a vegetarian. Ignorance. These plant heads have never stepped foot on a dog meat farm, so how would they know? Allow me to herd all your myths down the chute of awkwardness to the killing floor of truth. Our dogs are raised for this. They're not pets. This is their purpose. It's our family's tradition. It's the circle of life. Humans have been eating dogs for centuries. They taste delicious. Other animals eat dogs. Dogs would overrun us if we didn't eat them, or else I'm told they may go extinct. Dogs don't suffer the same way we do. Plants feel pain too. We're smarter than dogs, and everything in moderation. Also, you are all eating avocados. So, and besides, you know who didn't eat dogs? Hitler. Hitler never ate a dog, so which side of history do you want to be on? Right. All this points to the fact that you can love dogs and eat them. It's fine. What I can tell you about unseen suffering, it's the unseen dog meat farmer. Middle of the night, gently cradling a Rottweiler who won't make it before kindly thumping it on the floor to end its life according to USDA standards. Or the farmer crying because bird flu got into her high-density dog shed, and now she has to kill her entire inventory of Pomeranians. All those heartbreaking lost profits. Or the farmer who carries on despite the barn fire that killed her prized milking doodles. A fire caused because milk prices had plummeted because of vegans. And she was saving money and did the electrical herself. And of course, the unseen special love farmers show at breeding time. All of this is unseen. What I want you to see, everything we dog farmers do is done with compassion, respect, and love. So much love. You know, some farmers keep farming because there's no way out. Maybe the subsidies make it the only viable thing to do. Maybe they're in debt. Maybe they need a tax break you get from keeping animals. But that's not why I do it. I do it because I love dogs, and I love meat flavors. And I can't think of any other way I could spend time in nature interacting with animals, feeling the stirring of my heart, while at the same time feeding the hardworking families of America. And I'm also not a fan of falafel, so what are you gonna do? I don't know why a bunch of vegans invited a dog meat farmer to an event like this, but I think it's because you know what I know. The world isn't going vegan tomorrow, and we're in dire need of ethical, viable, regenerative resources and sources of protein. And you obviously can't get that from plants. You are all ghosts here. I don't know how you're alive. My name is Molly Elwood, and I am proud to be a dog meat farmer.
Hey, get off of here.
Thank
we
you.
do not support animal abusers.
No.
Get out of
We
here.
gave her time, right? Move on to the next.
Okay. I'm assuming this Molly Elwood is an entertainer.
Yes.
Entertainer.
And guess what, guys? We have some more entertainers coming up right now. Our next guests use their bodies to tell the stories.
Wait. I think art's very important. I am also a dancer, actress, singer.
Yes.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry.
This is
Okay,
good.
I am not a triple threat, but we're gonna clear this space right now.
Yes. We're
And
making room, guys.
For the true entertainers.
Yes. We gotta let them have some room to move their bodies and speak up for the animals and the planet and humanity through their performance art, guys. So our next group really needs no introduction.
They don't need any introduction, but they need your positive energy.
Yes.
I know we are feeling heavy, but we are here to cheer on each other, support each other, and you know what? Art always does that for me. So without you, actually, they're giving me more time. So
We have more time? Oh gosh, don't leave us up here.
First of all, we need more art. Boundary pushing.
That's right.
Artemis. Beast.
This is a healing ritual for all the souls that suffered and still suffer from the unjust of speciesism. May we all be truly free. Rocky core formed, with elements colliding, binding together. The watery spirits begun to divide, near and far. Light, the inexhaustible source of all things, appears in the darkness. The stars only became visible as the creation of the sun, for they store the light. the ideal final state of material. Elements are arranged: air, water. Within it dwells the life. Animals, humans, living in creation, a natural rhythm. Humans began exploiting the natural order, interrupting nature's patterns, eventually fighting with each other. The idea that one life is more important than the other was born. Questioning who is who. Distracted majesty. Silent witness. Duality rises, others' desires flee now, harsh voices overshadowing. Duality rose, greed grew. To conquer, to dominate, to own. Conditioning us to be comfortable with enslaving and owning another life. Enslaving animals, and then humans. Humans, robotically advanced, extracting the body liquids, the flesh, injected, infected, metallic taste. Slanted floor is made of wire. Spikes not from roses. The animals eaten, no longer touching grass, locked away from the sun. Their voices silenced, the hearts undone. Business of control and consumption, engraved in hidden cages. Endless consumption of bodies and things. It's never enough. The more we eat, the more we take, the more we starve. Constructing boundaries that obscure our interconnection. Divided animal and human alienation has become a kind of illness, an epidemic of collective suffering. How entangled are we with each other? If I'm hurting, do you feel it? Do you suffer if I suffer? What is compassion? What is freedom? How does it feel to be in a place of another? It is time to realize that the wolves stop chasing us. We are the only chasers. Godlike humans who can choose to use their intellect and power to destroy or preserve. Impulse, control, injected with iron, pendulum, as if we are steel and nothing will stop us. When we die, our bones know where we came from, and they return us to our beginnings. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And so we all return to our humble start. Lost bones emerging from the underground. Since the beginning of time, humans seek for physical and mental liberation. We fight for women's rights, civil rights, human rights, the rights to love whoever you love. But is it possible to achieve personal liberation while keeping others in cages? Can we seek for something that we take away from others? There's a crack in the matrix, and the light is shining through to awaken the masses to this genocide. We are at the dawn of a new time, to reinvent, to become creators, independent thinkers, and healers. We are here, alive, now. We have the power to remove all the walls of discrimination, freeing us all. Heal the collective wounds of speciesism. Restore the balance. Regrow the forest. Emerge again as a new, united, with expanded hearts, holding more compassion, with expanded lungs, able to inhale more air, breathe with a little more peace within. The revolution starts from within.
Wow.
That's
Incredible.
Thank you guys so much. Let's give it one big more round of applause, guys. That's what we're talking about.
Beautiful. Can I be a part of your group?
Yeah. We'll audition later.
I will audition later. Okay. Well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I saw some familiar face out in the crowd.
A familiar face.
Yeah, she is Naomi here. She
Naomi.
is Jamie Logan's boss.
That's
we
right.
need you to boss Jamie around over here.
Yes, where's our CEO of Generation Vegan?
Yes, Generation Vegan is an intersectional nonprofit dedicated to educating people about the many benefits of going vegan. So we need that because a lot of people don't really understand what the pros are for going vegan. So please welcome to the stage
Naomi.
Hallum.
There she is. There she is.
Hi. So if you've looked around you recently, you'll probably have noticed that these are not the best of times. And I'd be lying if I said I had much faith in humanity right now. Not just in Gaza, but in many other regions around the world, humankind is indiscriminately killing its own, using motivators like race and religion to justify murder, starving, abuse, marginalization, and condemnation of other people. Closer to home, we continue to discriminate, relegate, and commit violence towards our fellow human because of their race, religion, sexuality, gender, culture, and even for their philosophical beliefs and modes of self-expression. And for the crime of simply being human, we criticize, troll, and cancel each other, disregarding anyone who doesn't see the world as we do, know the things that we know, or demonstrate the wisdom that comes with making mistakes and being given a chance at redemption. And in addition to all of this, we enslave, abuse, and slaughter non-human animals on an unfathomable scale, while both subconsciously and consciously looking in the other direction. The world is a mess, and I am not proud to call myself human at this current point in time. But I am proud to call myself vegan. It took very little to convince me that being vegan was the only way to live a life aligned with my staunch belief that every animal on this earth deserves compassion and freedom. And when I say freedom, I also mean the liberty to express themselves freely, provided that freedom does not impinge on the freedom of another. And when I say every animal, I mean human animals too. Because why limit our compassion to non-human animals if we have the capacity to go beyond? I am proud to be vegan, and I am grateful that it took so little for me to become so and to stay so these past 8 years. I'm grateful I had the opportunity to connect with farmed animals as a child. I'm grateful that I had a supportive family and a partner who embraced veganism too. I'm grateful that I've always had access to an abundance of food and information and resources. I'm grateful that I've been able to make many, many mistakes in my life, to learn from those mistakes and to evolve into the person I am today. A much more informed and conscious person than I was in my 20s or my 30s, but a person who still has lots of learning and evolving to do regardless. Because none of us are perfect, are we? That's why I don't believe in attacking non-vegans, former vegans, or vegans who are struggling, because what these people really need is our compassion, our understanding, and our wisdom. And when I say these people, I mean everyone, except maybe those basement dwellers who post bacon gifs on our social media posts. Those Muppets aren't worth my compassion or my time, not a damn second of it, and they're not worth your time either. But most people are. Recidivism is a serious challenge for our movement. It's a challenge because ex-vegans, and particularly influential ones, will publicly and wrongfully blame veganism on their way out the door. And that's both harmful and very annoying. It's also a challenge because we die-hard vegans will often lock the door after them with our very public, very vocal intolerance. And that's harmful to our movement too, because although there's value in making clear what veganism is and veganism is not, for example, veganism is a philosophy, not a diet, burning bridges makes sure that a person who falls, trips up, or wavers has no way back to the fold and is forever lost to our cause. And we cannot afford to lose people, because when we do, it is not hundreds, not thousands, not millions, but billions of animals who suffer and who we let down. Veganism isn't about us, it's about animals, and it is the animals who we must focus on. So whenever we feel angry or hateful or frustrated because people won't listen or refuse to change or won't change quickly enough or claim to eat only humanely regeneratively farmed animals or say they can't afford to go vegan or say they die without cheese or denounce veganism entirely, we have to remember who it is that we're fighting for and put our anger and frustration aside. Because when all we can conjure is darkness, then there is no space for light, no desire to teach or empower, no ability to inspire or transform, and no room for redemption. As I said before, the world is a real mess. It is deeply, deeply flawed, because humankind is deeply, deeply flawed. We want to be better, but we are weighed down by our faults, our fears, our ignorance, our lack of education, our unconscious biases, our racism, our sexism, our discrimination, our anger, and our speciesism. And because of this, there can be no absolutism in advocacy, no progress without imperfection. If we want to create a better world for human and non-human animals, we absolutely have to meet people where they are. We have to talk to people compassionately. We have to listen, really listen to what they're saying, and we have to be as open to understanding them as we need them to be to understanding us. It's all about connection. We should not be bullying or attempting to intimidate people into going vegan. Statistically, that does not work, and it should not be how we choose to operate. We are better than that. Veganism isn't a war on humanity. It's a calling to unite against humanity, against injustice, against needless suffering, exploitation, and abuse, against ignorance and inequality, against speciesism. Sadly, we vegans aren't going to change the world for animals overnight, but by God, we are going to change it. Not with cruel words or guns blazing, but by sharing the love and compassion that brought all of us here today. And so even though the world is an almighty mess, I am hopeful. Hopeful that humankind has what it takes to end injustice once and for all, to connect with the better angels of our nature, and to walk the path trailblazed by people like you and me. So, my fellow vegans, let go of your anger towards those who don't see the world as you do. I understand why you're angry, I get it, but this world doesn't need more hate. What it needs desperately is empathy and love. Now, while kale lovers and chicken huggers we all may be, we're still unique individuals who, despite sharing a very healthy obsession with nutritional yeast, don't agree on everything and probably never will. Some of us like to shout, "Go vegan!" through a megaphone while dressed as a piece of broccoli. And some of us like to share pretty pictures of our plant-based food. And we need that. We need lots of activism and lots of different types of activism. We need all of it. But what we don't need is anger and infighting and bickering and to be wasting our time on the small stuff. We do not have the time to waste, nor the mainstream reputation to indulge in these off-putting behaviors. We need to remember that the world is watching us. Future vegans are watching us. Our kids are watching us, and animals, billions of beautiful animals, are counting on us. What they need and what our movement needs is all of us sharing all of our compassion, all of our wisdom, and all of our love with everyone out there who needs it. What the animals need from us is unity, courage, compassion, love, perseverance, wisdom, understanding, and unity. So let's do it, please. Let's unite humanity with love.
Yes, thank you so much, Naomi, for educating us. And our next speaker is a huge educational activist. Dr. Andrew Kirshner started his famous blog, Kirshner's Corner. Jamie, did you steal his name? He began that in 1987 as a newspaper column, and he's gone undercover with investigations. And I tell you, every time I hear Andrew speak, he inspires me to always show up and do more, even if it's pouring down rain. So without further ado, Andrew Kirshner. Keep up the energy, let's go!
In 1866, New York legislators passed the first ever bill that made it illegal to cause pain to animals unjustifiably. A few hours later, ASPCA founder Henry Berg saw a man beating a horse on the corner of 23rd Street and 5th Avenue and said to him, "You can't do that anymore." In the more than 150 years that have followed, animal rights advocates have been using legislative remedies and corporate pressure campaigns to tell the people who harm animals, "You can't do that anymore." Today, we assemble in the shadow of the United Nations to continue the long call for the recognition of animal rights, as Henry Salt did in his landmark animal rights book in 1892. On this hollow ground of New York City, where protests began more than 400 years ago when black slaves petitioned the Dutch for their freedom, we continue the work of generations who advocated for a more just society. After the Confederates attacked in 1861, hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers gathered as a demonstration of national unity and freedom. In 1882, thousands of immigrants gathered here to oppose sweatshops for this country's first Labor Day parade, and again for the first Women's Liberation March for women's suffrage in 1912. People concerned about the planet and its inhabitants joined forces for the city's first Earth Day in 1970. In the footsteps of New Yorkers who have advocated for freedom, nonviolence, and survival over the past 4 centuries, we join here today to call on the world to afford the same basic rights to animals that we have demanded for ourselves since the birth of this nation. The freedom to live our lives unfettered by the human hand. We gather here today at the steps of the United Nations, where Eleanor Roosevelt helped to enact the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which outlines freedom for all individuals. Liberty is embedded in this city's soul, and ensuring the freedom of people has been the bedrock of the United Nations. But there is a deafening silence when it comes to the freedom of animals that we must make right for this country to live up to its potential and speak in good conscience. For the United Nations to advocate for climate change and freedom in good faith, it must include the impact of animal agriculture on climate change at the forefront of its agenda and enshrine the rights of animals to live freely. What is good for humanity is good for every animal. Today, on National Animal Rights Day, we call on the United Nations to adopt the Animal Bill of Rights, a universal declaration that animals deserve basic legal protections recognized and enforced by law. We also call on every delegate to the United Nations to demand that their government support the plant-based treaty, which would put food systems at the heart of combating the climate crisis. Animals are here with us, not for us. We should not eat animals, conduct experiments on them, use them to make clothing or shoes, or exploit them for entertainment. We hold these truths to be self-evident. No human being can in good conscience argue for their rights or the rights of their fellow species or bemoan injustice while committing and supporting these atrocities against animals. Not bearing witness to animals' suffering does not make their suffering any less painful or their deaths any less real. Once we know better, we must do better. With history on our side, let us continue to insist on a world where every animal is free, so that we can say in the face of injustice, as Henry Bergh did all those years ago, you can't do that anymore.
It's all on us. Entyce, so nice. To the animal exploiters, they only get one life, one breath. Why you gotta give them death? Making them all go to great lengths to use their strength, trying to escape from the bolt gun. That knife is wholesome. The fear of death will provoke them when they unload them. Mama, she just wants her baby. She wants to hold them. She just had twins like Olsen, and yes, she wants them. Deformities that they can't grow from, so they sold them. The smell of blood and death and fear is what controls them. You had a chance to not choose oppression, but you didn't do it. That vegan item was right there. You didn't choose it. Education was given to you, but you refused it. Had a chance for you to do better, but you blew it. Your empathy is there somewhere. You gotta use it. Come on, you can't be that soft when the truth hits. Supporting oppression and violence, that shoe fits. You may not be the one holding that gun, but you shoot it. So here's the blueprint. Allow me to produce it. It's vegan or it's oppression. You're gonna refute it. All you gotta do is put yourself in there and you can prove it. Imagine seeing the face of your newborn and you lose them. For them to chop them up in pieces so they can chew them, but not before taking their skin so they can use it. Heads they remove it. Level to a unit. Oppression it doesn't change, but a new victim is introduced. All they get is one life, and they absolutely do not belong to you at all. All they get is one life. Stop viewing animals as resources. Go vegan. Simple. All they get is one life. To the activists, they only need need one mind, one animal emancipated appears to haters, taking all these trailblazers, turn them all to the saviors, putting in that labor, staying on point like a laser, keeping that vegan message sharp, just like a razor. Welfareism saying no, utilitarians gotta go. Abolition is the only mission we should ever go. Uncut truth is the only thing that we should ever show. Being able to take the feedback or else you'll never grow. We can always evolve, do better, we're never pros. Gotta work together in any weather, it'll never flow. Not about the animals, just let it go. Cause if not, the freedom levels will be really slow and really low. Gotta change the pastimes, getting all these trap minds. The way to view animals, gotta change it to a flat line. Gotta dead it, reinvent it, do it like we meant it. Gotta put that pressure on them, can't just set it and forget it. Gotta have us out with the message, make them get it. That animals are here for them, that idea, they will reject it. Not exploiting them and using them, they will accept it. Their lives and their body parts, they will respect it. All they get is one life. This day is for them. This fight is for them. Veganism is about the animals and them only. Only them.
All they got is one life. One life. Oh. But, okay, yeah, I wasn't as good as her.
Guys, we didn't rank
okay.
the second verse. I'm sorry, Doc.
It's okay. Our next guest, we have 2 more speakers. Please give all your attention and focus on them, please. Our next guest is one of the first activists I ever saw out on social media, and I looked up to him so much. This is Dominick Thompson I'm talking about. He is a leading voice in the ethical, vegan, and no-meat athlete movement. This guy is defying all the stereotypes of what a vegan looks like. He's making vegan cool. Yes. Please welcome Dominick Thompson. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Justina. First of all, let's give a round of applause for these beautiful people, Justina, Jamie, Drew, all the organizers that helped put this on. Appreciate you. And also, let's give a round of applause for all of you out here. You could have been doing anything else in this world, but here we are. This is just from the heart. I didn't write any fancy speech down. I just want to say this. The human ego is the biggest threat to this thing called life. I'm gonna say that again. The human ego is one of the biggest threats to this thing called life in itself. And you can see it within our own community, what's happening from here in New York, even globally. 23, close to 24 years ago, I was a 21-year-old man sitting in federal prison, looking at myself, my hands, and how I landed in that specific position. And a lot of us don't talk about our beliefs. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But this memory, when I was an 8-year-old boy, came up into my mind when my mom used to feed me chicken wings. She used to serve them to us because we was poor. I come from very humble beginnings. And that's the only thing that she could afford at that time. But those chicken wings, to me, that was the first time I made that connection. It looked like little bitty arms. Round up, I just want to raise your hands for anybody that, if you was a younger kid, seeing that symbolic image of that flesh attached to that bone, did it move some things in your body? Round them hands, let me see that. A lot of us, right? But like most parents, they tell us that we need our meat to eat. We didn't have social media back then. We didn't have documentaries back then. We didn't have the education of what we have back then. So my mom did the best thing she can do by masking exactly what she wanted me to eat. So she went to the grocery store and bought fish sticks and chicken nuggets because the bone was removed. And I went on about my life to go eat this food. And here I was back in prison with that memory, and it clicked like a light bulb. And I got it. And it was there in prison 23 years ago exactly that I decided to do a hard reset. And I created this mantra that if it requires harm, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. And that was 23 years ago, guys, in prison. I would trade my meat-based protein with my cellmates for their carbs. I ate a lot of complex and simple carbs. And they thought I was crazy. They thought I was weird. It's like, Dom, you sure? Dude, you're gonna lose your mask. I was like, because I was one of the strongest dudes in prisons, top 10 over a population of over 1,000 inmates. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. But that was 23 years ago, and I haven't disappeared and withered away. Fast forward 8 years ago, I spoke right here in New York for NARD. At that time, there was close to over 50 billion animals being destroyed annually. Today, we're close to 80 billion animals being destroyed. Our community has seen a lot of shifts, just like society in itself is going through a very hard transition, both spiritually and economically. But I want to continue to say, one, thank you to all of you all that haven't been influenced to go back to eating meat. But two, understand this. Everything you do in life is a form of activism. What you buy with your dollars is a form of activism. What you decide to gossip about and text your friends and loved ones in the family groups is a form of activism. What you post on social media, whether it be a cute plant-based meal or a very heartbreaking image of an animal being slaughtered, is a form of activism. Never be afraid to speak your mind, because these animals definitely need you and all of us to continue to do that. And I want to tell you guys, I drove all the way up here 15 hours from Atlanta. I used to live in New York, because that's how special this day is to me, and that's how special you all are to me. I love you all. Let's continue to fight this fight. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dominick, for coming here. We have someone else who travels really far to come and speak to all of you today, too.
That's right. Are you still here with us, guys? Give us a cheer. Thank you. So we are going to give it up for Dr. Faraz Harsini. He is a biomedical and food system scientist, guys, CEO and founder of Allied Scholars for Animal Protection, also known as ASAP. So he's dedicating his entire career right now, guys, to amplify veganism and animal rights. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Guys, are you ready? Please come on up here, Dr. Faraz. Let's go! Woo!
Hello, guys. Can you guys come a little forward, because I have to fight this noise in the background? And I assure you that I don't eat animals, so I'm not gonna bite you. How do you know someone is vegan? What a terrible joke, right? That's one way people who exploit animals want us to shut up. But the reality is people eat animals all the time, and they talk about it all the time. Before I start, I want to thank the organizers, and especially Jamie. Without her, we won't be here, period. So yeah, I'm Dr. Harsini. I'm a founder of Allied Scholars for Animal Protection, and I literally dedicated the rest of my life to train the future generation of thought leaders who take veganism and animal rights seriously and dedicate their entire lives to it, their entire careers. And we don't want to do any of the humanely raised, grass-fed, cage-free, welfareist reduction, none of that half-ass bullshit. We're just going to take veganism seriously. So tomorrow, June 3rd, is my 12th-year vegan anniversary. So I've been vegan for 12 years, still waiting on dying from protein deficiency. But I actually changed my birthday, real biological birthday, to June 3rd, because that's another opportunity that I get to talk about animal rights. On Facebook, people message me, you know, all these lame messages that you get, oh, happy birthday. I say, thank you so much. Are you vegan? Because this is my vegan anniversary. And I make them regret telling me happy birthday. But really, veganism is the best thing I've ever done in my life, and my only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. I want to say how much I respect you all, because you could be doing anything else with your life, and you decided to be here and fight for animals. I used to do cancer research, I used to do human rights activism, And every time I said cancer research, and people loved it. They respect you. When you say human rights activism, people respect you. The only form of social justice that is not about us and is about animals of other species is the animal rights movement. It's the only one that you don't get social approval for fighting for the victims, which is why it's so important for us to speak up and be louder than this generator and people who exploit animals. I also want to say that I am an introvert. The last thing I want to do is to do outreach or be in front of people and do public presentation. Every time I do that, a part of me dies. But I do it nevertheless because it's not about us. This movement is not about us. It's about animals of other species. We shouldn't be doing things that make us feel better. We should be doing what needs to be done, and we should say what needs to be said. And other people are not saying it. To make us a little more effective, I have 3 things I want to talk to you about today. One is, there is a saying that we are the average of 5 people around us. Those are your best friends, those are your family members, and your partners. It's really important. If these people are activists, if they are vegan, they will empower you and they make you a better activist. If these people are animal abusers, if they are not vegan, they will lower your values. They will take you down. I see that all the time. When vegans in colleges, they hang out with a lot of non-vegans, they lose their voice. Sometimes they feel so shy to even say to their friends that they're vegan. I see that all the time when people start dating non-vegans. They lose the courage to speak up for the animals. Sometimes we put our own petty pleasures, such as our desire to not be lonely or have sex, above what's right to do for the animals. And if your partners, on the other hand, is vegan and is an activist, they will make you a better activist. To be very clear, I don't say don't date non-vegans. I don't say don't talk to them. Do it, get them active, get them vegan, give them a chance. Everybody gets a chance. A hunter, an animal farmer gets a chance. But at the end of the day, they either align their actions with their values or not. We would never compromise for any other form of injustice. I would never date someone. Imagine if I was a Black Lives Matter activist and my partner was racist. It just doesn't make sense. We will never compromise. It's only when it comes to animal rights that even us, vegans and activists, sometimes compromise. So keep that in mind. Whatever you do, don't compromise. The second thing I want to say is that maybe this is your sign to quit your job. We have 20, 30, 40 years left, something like that. Every second matters, and every second thousands of animals are dying after a horrible treatment in animal farms. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have time to waste on working in bank and insurance companies and things that really don't make a difference for the world. If your job is making you unhappy, if it's not making the impact that you want to see in the world, sometimes you make a lot of money and you get to donate. That makes sense. But if it's making you miserable and you can do something more productive with your life, guys, we don't have time. And to be clear, I don't say that everyone should work for animal rights organizations and non-profits. There are so many other works and jobs that are related to animal rights. You can make an impact, big impact for animals. Sometimes it's like working even for the government, right? But think about quitting your job. Maybe this is your sign. The third thing I want to talk to you about is that we need to speak up. I'm going to give you a few examples. Just a few months ago, there was a study that came out of Harvard and Tufts University. It said that women who eat more protein, plant-based proteins, age healthier and they have fewer chronic diseases. It was a very strong and large study. How do you think media reported this? They said, warning vegans, you need meat to be healthy. This was 100% against what the conclusion of the paper was. There is a war against veganism. You may resonate with this. When you go to work, your colleagues are not shying away about having barbecue last night. They don't shy away to talk about hunting. They don't shy away to talk about their fishing. Think about fishing. People enjoy it. They walk around, you walk around, you see all these people dragging these animals out of water and suffocating them to death for pleasure, and somehow this is normalized in our society. They don't shy away to talk about this stuff. Every TV advertisement has animal exploitation in it. I was at the gym, my fucking treadmill was showing me animal exploitation. The TV, the screen on the treadmill had animal exploitation in it. Non-vegans, they don't shy away from speaking up. We need to be louder. We need to use every goddamn opportunity to speak up. There is no other form of social justice that advanced because people shied away. And the last thing I want to bitch about, the last thing I want to complain about is cupcake vegans. Have you heard that? You see all these vegan pages with thousands of vegans who never want to speak up? Yeah, I'm talking about them. I call them cupcake vegans because they like to bake cupcakes and take it to parties, and they want to make an impact like that. Don't take me wrong. Giving non-vegans good vegan food is good to show them that you can be healthy and eat tasty food. But you can't win a goddamn movement by cupcakes. And these people always tell you, yeah, I just want to, just be a good role model, I don't want to push my beliefs on other people. You do you, man. We would never do that for any other social issue. We would never say, I'm not going to. Think about it. If somebody was killing a dog in front of you, you would take action. You're not going to worry about other people calling you judgmental. One of the biggest problems I see with animal rights movement is that vegans are so worried about being called judgmental and pushy. We'll go to a slaughterhouse and then we talk about who's pushing their ideas on other animals. There is nothing wrong with judgment. We just have to judge righteously. If someone was raping someone else, if someone was beating a dog or a child, we will take action. We are not going to say, I'm not going to judge you, you do you, right? Of course we judge. We shouldn't judge people for things they don't have the control over, such as the way they look, things that they don't decide. But on their actions, absolutely, we should judge people and we need to take action. Animal oppression is the worst form of oppression, period. Statistically, logically, rationally, mathematically, ethically, morally, there is nothing that causes so much suffering as much as animal oppression. And there is no other cause that we can dedicate our entire life and every goddamn second to it. Animals cannot afford to have us not at our 100%. They cannot afford us to dilute the animal rights mission with other causes. This is a mission for animal rights. So let's not shut up. We need to speak up. We need to use every opportunity, our careers, our donations, whatever we can do. But please, let's not shut up until every goddamn cage is empty and every animal is liberated. Thank you.